There's no denying it, new car prices are insane, with average transaction prices now up over $50,000. But that doesn't mean there aren't some really good cars still out there that cost less than half of that. And this here is one of them, the refreshed 2023 Nissan Versa.
This here is a feel-good story about buying a sub-$20,000 new car. Do you know how many of them still exist? Only 6. Rio, Forte, Venue, Soul, Mirage, and this Versa, the least expensive new car sold in America, with a starting MSRP of $16,925, including destination. It's only one of 3 within that group offered with a manual transmission, if that's important to you. When I started this gig in 1998, cheap cars were really cheap. Not necessarily bad, but barren, harsh, zero fun kind of transportation with questionable safety resumes. Thankfully, that's not the case anymore. This Versa SR is the highest trim level, and when optioned with a premium paint color, carpeted mats, and the electronics package, checks in at a very reasonable $22,460. Last redesigned for the 2020 model year, this refresh is minor, updating the look of the front end, changing the 17-inch wheel design, and bolstering its already strong resume of features. All 3 trims, S, SV, and SR, run with a 1.6-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, capable of producing 122 horsepower and 114 pound-feet of torque, working through a continuously variable transmission, though the base model can be spec'd with a 5-speed manual. Just remember, this isn't 25 years ago when choosing the stick shift resulted in better fuel economy. The CVT returns a healthy 5 mpg more, rated at 35 mpg in mixed driving, 40 mpg on the highway. The power numbers may look meek, but the Versa does not present as deficient. Acceleration is far livelier than I would have guessed, and that includes passing maneuvers on the highway. The D-step shifting logic of the Xtronic CVT is also very agreeable, adding a performance feel to the gearless transmission. At this price point, you might expect ugly powertrain sounds. Not so. A loud cabin, absent, a sloppy drive, far from the truth. Sure, Nissan keeps the cost low by utilizing drum brakes on the rear as opposed to disc brakes. Heck, Toyota does that on a $40,000 Tacoma. And a torsion beam as opposed to an independent rear suspension. But whether you're driving the Versa around town, up a hill, or on the highway, it always goes about its business with a deftness that belies its cost.
Just the other day, I drove this Versa back and forth to Yankee Stadium, about a 2.5-hour drive each way, which includes some very fast highways, and this Versa was impressive. It can indeed handle those highway speeds. It's pretty quiet inside, and it's got far more pickup than you would ever imagine. It's also very comfortable, and it feels safe. So there is nothing about this car, including the CVT, that would dissuade me from recommending it.
With nearly 90 cubic feet of passenger volume and a large 15 cubic foot trunk, the Versa provides compact dimensions that aren't that dissimilar to the Sentras. Rear seat room is very adult-friendly, though accoutrements back there are low. A USB port is the only notable feature. But up front, the scene takes on a richer milieu.
$22,460. That is the sticker price of this top-of-the-line Versa SR, and though it's been a long time since I've driven a Versa, I can tell you they never used to be like this. I mean, this thing has all sorts of features that you would never expect to see at this price, like this touchscreen infotainment system, which supports Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and also has really excellent voice controls, and one of my favorites, a little camera button right up here on the upper right. It has auto climate control, heated front seats with dual settings. You've got mixed USB ports down here, more USB ports here, and more in the very spacious rear seats. You've got a wireless charge pad, a digital instrument cluster, adaptive cruise control, auto high beams. You've got the garage door opener here on the rear view mirror, these really stylish seats, the stitching. I mean, this is a phenomenal job by Nissan. So, if you are in the market for a new car and you're on a tight budget, You have got to check this one out.
Even those who aren't into cars don't want to feel like they own something cheap. And the Versa's scarlet ember paint and sporty interior design elements exude anything but. It's a sharp-looking little car with some detail to its cabin. The seats look cool, and the electronics, particularly the driver display, are on par with much more expensive cars. And how about the roster of driver assistance features, such as automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, rear cross traffic alert with automatic braking, and lane departure warning? Impressive stuff. For 2023, this SR trim adds a center console with armrest, an 8-inch touchscreen, a Wi-Fi hotspot, and remote-controlled features via the Nissan Connect Services smartphone app. There's also a wireless charger, but a cable is still needed for phone projection. So, in an age of sky-high MSRPs and customers commonly paying over sticker, it's reassuring to know that Nissan is keeping the candle lit at the entry point to new car ownership with an offering that's so much more and better than expected. For TestDriveNow.com, I'm Steve Hammis.